Good afternoon on what is a warm, bright and sunny day. It is Sunday, the 9th of April, and I've got a nice hot cup of tea. And also to unbox, and this has come from D101 Games. Let's get this open and find out what is inside. Inside is that. Just get the knife through the tape. This is Reboot the Future. Sorry, Reboot the Future. Role-playing in the 23rd century. Reboot the Future is a cyberpunk game set in the off-world colonies of a space federation known as the Consortium. After abandoning the off-world colonies during the Galactic War, the big corporations have recently returned. While the corporations were away, a whole generation of people have been free of their influence and have seen the damage that corporate rule has caused. Some of them, known as cyberpunks, are now in open rebellion. So, most cyberpunk novels are kind of set on Earth in one of the decaying, sprawling cities, or megaplexes, or megacities that have grown up in the 21st or 22nd century. This is a bit different. It takes place on Earth. We've got nice artwork. Author Newt's signature. And contents page, and let's have a look. Full list of backers. Just see. Don't know if you see myself there, but I should be one of them. What is Reboot the Future? It's 2223 and the future is here and it's bright. Sure, the last 10 years have been hard, but we've had to grit our teeth and fight the anti-consumers in a war so big it was called the Galactic War. The good news is we won. Now the Consortium is safe to profit and grow without limits again because space is infinite. Here at Imperial Sterling, people accuse us of throwing the local economy under the transit tube in the colonies during the war. Still, our withdrawal from your local space was necessary to focus on our resources and beat the enemy. Now that we are victorious, we're back and investing in your economy once more. Our system architects and planetary economists deliver vital quick aid packages and draw up long-term rebuilding strategies, all powered by the groundbreaking technologies of Project Dark Light. So, yeah, interesting setup. You have the return of corporate influence, and your player characters are attempting to hold that off. This is a combination of two projects, as it says clearly here. It's based upon Liminal, certainly mechanically, because it's two six-sided dice to roll and add together. And Project Darklight was the previous version of the role-playing game, but that was for a role-playing system called Wordplay. Now, Liminal is a role-playing game of urban fantasy set here in the United Kingdom, and very good it is too. So we've got more background explaining how humanity got to the world, what Project Darklight is, and then we have Reboot the Future in a nutshell. So essentially, overall, and then it gives the setting, characters, data sphere, which is the equivalent of virtual reality. So that gives you the pointers, the basics in bullet points of what the nature of the setting is, and then it does the same thing for cyberpunk with a primer on what to read, what to watch. So reading is Neuromancer and anything by William Gibson, certainly within the cyberpunk trilogy. and the Altered Carbon by Richard K. Morgan. Watch is Max Headroom 20 Minutes into the Future, Blade Runner the film, Matrix Trilogy, and then listen various music. Play, you might look at Cyberpunk 2020, the Deus Ex computer game, and Remember Tomorrow, which is another Cyberpunk role-playing game. So, here we get into actually the nature of the role-playing game. You know, Cyberpunk 101, the chromatic worlds of the setting for Reboot the Future, history of the consortium and how they arose and have such a strong influence over the setting, and then a rough guide to life on the consortium. It's you know, the players get to detail their own domain with their own home domain, essentially, where it could be sort of like, it's like it's a corporate domain. The domain is sort of like the a corporation influence, and basically set the degree of involvement and nature of that homeworld for their campaign. So yeah, there is a lot of work to do upon the part of the players, not just in creating their characters, but setting up the world that they want their characters to explore. Someone also carries the advice is, what if I want to run a vanilla cyberpunk game? If you don't want to use the Reboot the Future's default setting of cyberpunks in space, and are less keen about having alien conspiracy theories in your game, then ignore all that. Instead of homeworld, just have a home city and other obsessional objects be nearby towns, cities and other settlements. So yeah, so then we get into characters, origin, style, focus, skills, traits, and limitations are what they're made up of, and really you are looking at attributes are endurance, will, protection, and then you have circles and contacts, an avatar, which is their representation in the data sphere, and then some of the backgrounds you could have common to cyberpunk stories. So, you know, common cyberpunk origins: archaeology, termite, demilitarized zone, highway warrior, roughneck, so on. And these are backed up by plastic pieces of artwork. That's one piece of artwork I've seen used elsewhere, used in a Gamma World fanzine, if I recall rightly. So these are origins. Then we get on to concepts. So black marketeer, celebrity, corporate assets, or corporate agent, crusading cop, cyber hacker, cyber docker, determined driver, investigative journalist, maverick engineer, kind of all the sort of like the kind of the cliches or the archetypes that you would expect of the genre. Street ninja, also Vat Ninja, Street Ronin, and then skills list for the future. And again, this the setting is really, mechanics are really simple. 260 dice plus skill plus modifiers to beat a target, which is never very high. Traits, talents, limitations, essentially abilities, advantages, disadvantages, that kind of thing. So this does include cyberware as well. So a neural interface is costs you 0 points because everyone's got one. You know, it's what connects the everybody to their cyberware and also presumably to their to the data sphere. So yeah, you can have cyber arms, cyber jaws, cyber legs, cyber linked weapons, medical eyes, monokatanas, you know, all the very typical cyberpunk gear you would expect. And then we got talents, so we have things like exceptional awareness, investigator, so on, things like that. There are more than necessarily just what you've had plugged into you. Hacking talents, techno geek, tinker, virtual lounge, all things you can have. Limitations might be black market cyberware, or distrusted, followed by the media, gangs and factions. So they're going to have a big role in the game. They're going to have their areas of control. You're going to have to navigate your way around those. So you've got gang concept of goal, and you can build and create those. Other factions, organised crime, feral gangs, alien collective, anti-consumer societies are all discussed there. Then we have the game rules. Yeah, so basically you've got rules for basic role. Challenge level will be 8, standard. Then we've got rules for critical success, effects of failure, keeping track of time, using contacts, using style. Style can be used at 3 to provide, essentially it's the equivalent of hero points. Can be used to provide a +2 bonus or give the character a spotlight, and so on. How to boost or manipulate your skill tests, damage and healing. Then we get into combat, and of course hacking. Going to be much more simpler than you will find in other cyberpunk games. Sometimes they can kind of get the characters lost, busy doing something, whilst the rest of the party sit around. This is going to be, as I recall, a bit more, snap and it's done. Rules for vehicle combat, because hey, Mad Max. Advancement and concluding conspiracy. Concluding conspiracies, discovering things, putting this, basically denying the conspiracy or proving it, that sort of thing, is part of play as well. Flashpoints are quick stories. So, for example, my pod takes place in a low-cost shopping mall, and then loadout is all about gear. So, welcome to the street and going shopping in the 23rd century. So you've got sections on vehicles, including a pseudo industries motorcycle, not a pseudo, but a la Akira. Weapons, of course, because you're going to want to go armed, because the world is a dangerous place. And then behind the curtain, this is going to be the section for the game master, game moderator, and we've got some full colour inserts there. And these are a lot of this is full colour versions of black and white pieces which have appeared earlier in the book. And then here we've got the dedicated backgrounds, essentially for the game moderator's eyes, which is the report to the board and the rise of the corporations and what's really going on. So, that's got the complete history in here, explains actually what Project Darklight is, and then the role of the game moderator, how to present and use technology in the game. Important because, one of the things about the cyberpunk genre is you are generally playing around with a lot of technology and trying to bring that into play. And we've got more background in the Dead Girl transmission, one conspiracy, then we look at corporations. So, Imperial Sterling, Champion Executives, Merlin PLC, Guns Are Us, Quite interesting reference there to the name Gale Wintermute, Wintermute being the name of an AI in the Gibson books. Sample NPCs, and then we get into the go to the data sphere, exploring what the data sphere is, types of data sphere, your avatar in the data sphere, how to bring AI into play, and we've got artificial intelligence templates there to follow, and a range of ready to play AIs for the player characters to encounter. More technology, in which case remote devices, organised crime in the future. So New Oldham Old Boys Firm, yes, very northwest. Feral gangs, the various types of feral gang you can run into, including plus outlaw motorcycle groups, the Alien Collective, and what they're doing involved in the setting. So you're going to have aliens as well. So there we go. Pinks, divas, alien humanoid hybrids, and the Men in Black. So you can have those involved, the conspiracies, and of course, with all that, you need the smoking man. Anti-consumer societies, those that were rose up against the corporations. Building conspiracies, so these are the sort of building sort of like plots and so on. Start with a story concept, build a pitch, through the different phases, present 3 locations. This is all the advice for the game moderator. 100 cyberpunk adventure ideas. So a citizen's duty, corporate wage slaves, criminal activities, vehicular mayhem, citywide strife. So you've got a table for each of these, and then William, a simple introductory adventure. NPCs for the adventure. How the players get involved and their characters. And then lastly the index. Character sheets. Race tables. We've got an instant table on the inside page instead of the artwork on the back. So yeah, that is Reboot the Future, cyberpunk role-playing in the 23rd century, published by D101 Games. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got any comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to get more unboxings in the Nook, where you'll see me out here with a package containing a book or game which I'll unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so. All, of course, accompanied by a nice cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching. Be back again soon with another unboxing in the Nook. Bye for now.